has been not so good for a while. And my boy Xmithie here used to play a lot of Kindred.
That's true.
So I got my fingers crossed.
You get your fingers crossed, maybe like 2 sets on both hands. All right, we're ready to go. Wow, I can't really cross toes very easily, but you know, I trust that you have the ability. Azael, there's nothing you can't put your mind to.
Dexterous toes.
That's good. Extra toes. He's
Dexterous.
Dexterous toes. Okay, that actually makes way more sense. Nocturne and Talia, 2 junglers banned away from Chronologic Gaming. Want to point out that issue with Talia has been resolved, and there's no longer a bug with Talia jungle, as far as we can tell anyway. That champion's back up, but banned away by Team Liquid, not letting ReignOver play that one here. No Xayah for DoubleLift, so removing the only marksman he's played so far in this summer split.
Lucian has been banned against in both previous games, though.
True.
There is a possibility of CLG trying to look for that first pick Lucian to perhaps take that away from DoubleLift if they are concerned about it. Biofrost not going to get to play Braum. Braum Ezreal was what CLG actually used both of their games last weekend. Darshan played double Ornn last weekend, so CLG was kind of just sticking with what had been working. I'm going to be very interested to see if CLG is going to look to branch out a little bit more, go to a carry versus carry style matchup, because Darshan, it does feel like a lot of these split pushers, that's where he had so much success in the patch, and with Aatrox rising in priority and Camille and Jax and all these sorts of champions being fairly popular, I think he has a good chance of success there.
And we've already got a Kai'Sa locked in for this one. I do kind of expect it to be Kai'Sa bot lane right now, just by the fact that Irelia is there. I think Irelia 90% of the time is going to be a mid laner there, and I don't really expect like DoubleLift Irelia with like super Kai'Sa mid.
Yeah, unless they're doing something super wacky where they're swapping around the players into different roles and these sorts of things, you do have to take into consideration, you know, when you are drafting against them. Looks like it's going to be 3 for 3 on Ornn for Darshan. Again, unless that is swapped to a support or something like that. But as of now, expecting DoubleLift to be right back on the marksman. Very likely a Pobelter Irelia mid. We'll see where they're going to go from here.
Absolutely the case. So one final pick for Chronologic Gaming before the bans, and one final pick for Team Liquid right after that one. 8 seconds to go till CLG figure out what they want to go for. And Sejuani, 8.12 saw buffs to the champion. A lot more ability power ratios on the kit, most notably Runic Echoes into full tank seems to be the jungle build here, and based on the picks, you expect it to be a Sejuani for ReignOver.
Yeah, and the clear has gotten a little bit better. There is no internal cooldown, and actually, you know, stacking up the stun on monsters in the jungle there, so that is going to help Sejuani out with the early clear. And a pretty beefy front line already coming in here for CLG. I do like Trundle a lot for Xmithie as the answer, being able to have this specifically against Sejuani. Sejuani with her passive has so much extra armor to MR. If you actually alter before that breaks, then she breaks, loses that, and especially with Aftershock, can actually go into negative resistances and even take true damage.
Yeah, we'll see a really big deal.
We'll see if ReignOver actually wants to go, you know, fleet footwork. We saw that picked earlier today in EU, which was kind of a throwback to the older Sejuani style for a better clear, and perhaps just try to negate some of the disadvantage that you have with that interaction of Aftershock, kind of something that's working in favor of the Trundle, with him being able to ult you during that.
Good in the case here. Interesting to note, of course, Lucian banned away by Team Liquid. They were more keen to pick Kai'Sa for themselves, and DoubleLift respecting Lucian from the opposition, though, of course, Chronologic Gaming have not shown their bottom lane at all, and with almost every champion in the game viable down there, it's going to be difficult options for Liquid. They ban traditional marksman. Lucian's very powerful. Ezreal, we've, as you mentioned before, seen from Stixxay twice before, but there are still probably 30 viable bot laners that Stixxay could pick up right now.
Yeah, certainly a lot of variety down there if he wants to go away from marksman, if he wants to go into something a little bit more crazy. Jhin is a champion that got a decent bit better with 8.12. Stormrazor got buffed. That is the most actually popular rush item and a bugged interaction with Stormrazor and the fourth shot, kind of the Stormrazor crit overriding the higher damage fourth shot for Jhin. That got fixed, so a little bit of a buff there. Singe looking like the pick here for impact, and
and a popular counter pick to Ornn, of course, as well. That grounded from the goop, stopped you from casting the second half of your ultimate. So been a very popular champion. Of course, an impact special as well. No one's surprised that it's him picking it up, but yeah, one's been very popular in the recent patches. Also now Varus for Stixxay, still sticking to marksman with a Morgana in the bottom lane, so just locking in those roles. This looks like a very standard spring split comp for CLG.
Yeah, and this is honestly a really strong bottom lane. This is something that we saw Clutch actually use quite a lot. There is a lot of all-in potential, and if we see Olleh actually blocking the Nami, he's looking more for the Tahm Kench. I think this is a much safer option to deal with both the Varus ultimate as well as the Morgana bindings. If you do get caught into that chain with the Varus ultimate, followed up by the Morgana binding, the Morgana ultimate, you can get locked down and burned down very, very quickly. Tahm Kench is going to help a lot with that, in addition to, you know, Sleepy Bubble Trouble, the Sejuani ultimate. So I think Tahm Kench is a fantastic pick here. We'll see how Darshan is going to be able to actually fare up against Singed in the top lane. And you talked about the kind of goop interaction there, stopping the Ornn ultimate, but it's actually a very tough lane matchup for Singed in the early levels. You know, post 6, once you have some levels, it does become pretty rough for the Ornn, but in the early levels, we have seen solo kills in competitive play. We have seen the Ornn kind of bullying out and really being able to kind of put some pressure onto this Singed, but if that doesn't happen, it can get rough, it can get frustrating. That being said, banner being removed actually affects both sides of this matchup. A, as a fallback pattern for the Ornn, trying to allow him to have a little bit of pressure, and B, you know, normally you would like to get that early banner against the Ornn as well for the Singed to be able to kind of try to knock down that turret.
That's the case. We'll see what comes through then and what people want to pick for themselves. AP Singed, my personal favorite, but obviously you might be the front line in a team fight here. Trundle and Tahm Kench there as well. No traditional mage in the Team Liquid roster, but of course with AP Kai'Sa being the popular build, magic damage still there in the lineup. And we can see once again the rosters on your screen. You mentioned Ornn versus Singed being a Ornn favored early lane matchup, and Impact not typically known for his laning phase. We've seen Darshan get a couple of solo kills himself, even against champions like Aatrox. This could be a bastion of power for counter Logic Gaming. Zoe, the first pick of the draft, but up against Irelia, one of the most popular mid laners in Pro League of Legends, could be a very interesting matchup to watch play out.
It's also kind of funny to say when you are looking at CLG, who has a marksman, but AP Varus is by far and away the more popular build these days. And if Stixxay does go AP, they're essentially pure magic damage, and then it becomes very, very easy for the Singed, the Trundle, the Tahm Kench to be itemizing that magic resistance, and even, you know, DoubleLift going a little bit more defensive and these sorts of things. So we'll see if Stixxay is actually going to kind of adapt his build and go for more of a pure physical damage build like we used to see, you know, Rageblade IE, Hurricane, these sorts of things instead. Yep. I'm not sure if we will see that adjustment, but if he does go AP Varus, they are super one-dimensional in their magic damage.
Yeah, and I feel like it's pretty easy to stack MR. I think all those items are like, they feel very good, they're really efficient. I mean, Adaptive Helm is perfect against Varus. It's all repeated damage sources. Definitely agree this could be a difficulty for CLG 25, 35 minutes down the line if it gets to that point. We will see what happens. Both these teams sitting at 1-1. Their victories only against 100 Thieves apiece. Could feel good beating the previous NALCS finalists, but also a team that had not found their footing so far in the summer split. The squads scout each other out. Looks like no deep wards that I can detect, and so no obvious tells about jungle starts, and both these players can figure out which camp they want to go to in the Fog of War. Trundle on red buff, the same for Sejuani. Darshan, ooh, bone plating's now on cooldown. Advantage Impact.
Yeah, it is, you know, I mean, do you say it facetiously? It's a little bit of an advantage, obviously, not a big one, but bone plating can be pretty big, actually, you know, in their early trades, you know, against Singed, actually. As far as I know, reduces each tick. You know, the procs can actually take each individual tick of the poison, so that can be a decent little bit of damage reduction. But, you know, Ornn with a W, with Grasp, if you can get those passive autos off on Singed when he tries to run through and poison up all the minions, that is why it can be difficult in the early levels. Once Singed is a little bit more tanky and can kind of get to a certain point where you can kind of ignore the Ornn more easily, it does become a lot more difficult for Ornn, as you don't really have that kind of damage scaling that is sometimes required to get kills later on.
Right now we see that early little bit of pushing from Impact down on that side of the map, and a couple of attacks come out from Darshan. We watch the bot lane as the early pressure is going to be DoubleLift and Olleh getting this one level 2 right there.
It's also interesting to note that it is going to be the lethal tempo on Varus, which is going to be incredibly strong for team fighting, but if he is taking much poke and if there is a lot of trading going back and forth, DoubleLift is playing fleet footwork, so he's going to have, you know, a bit more sustain because of that in the laning phase, and both AD carries are going to be running teleports, so it may not really come that much into play. And when you are having the range support advantage, as Stixxay does on his side, I think it can make sense to set up your runes more for a later stage.
Interesting enough, Impact put a ward down in front of Gromp, but Sejuani is not passed through there right now. So even though Impact used his early ward, he does not see the Sejuani's top river right now, and now could be surrounded. The pillar is there. The charge is going to land for the knockup, but now Sejuani's going to start stacking up for the E passive to find that stun. The flash isn't going to matter. He's still stunned up. The flash to chase, and Impact goes down. ReignOver passed around the ward.
Nicely done there from ReignOver, committing the flash. They get the summoner from Impact and get the first blood. So that is very, very nice for CLG, getting some pressure down on that top side. Here it is one more time. As you said, not spotted out by the deep ward. This was a pretty interesting ganking path, and At this point, I think from Impact, you probably just shouldn't be flashing. When the E passive is on you, Sejuani's love to stack that up and actually wait until you flash, and then they have that stun to lock you down. So it does get taken out, but we'll still have pressure, and it's not like this is a snowbally matchup in the top lane. It's not like...
Yep.
Oh!
Flashes for the smite. ReignOver did it early. Now it's a jump over to get away. That's at least something back for him. He gets to take 3 of the buffs, although I'd still probably take first blood myself.
Yeah, definitely rather have the first blood, but you know, it's kind of tough because CLG has a jungle matchup that is going to get worse for them as the game goes on, and a top lane matchup that gets worse for them as the game goes on. So, you know, they get that first blood top, but it's not really going to change too much, as it's just an assist for Darshan. Synth will scale and kind of start to really have pressure in this lane, and Trundle is going to continue winning the 1v1. So it's not that big of a deal for TL, and if you're on their side, you're pretty unconcerned about the fact that he gave up 1 kill.
Maybe so. You're seeing the damage done towards Darshan. Of course, he has already committed his teleport, though. Probably to heal up from before, so he's going to have to kind of weather the storm now with only limited sustain. Of course, Ornn shield probably still fine. DoubleLift himself, look at how low he is now in this one. Still does have that teleport on Kai'Sa as well, and likely to pull that recently. Or soon, I should say.
Yeah, Xmithie is not up on the top side, but Darshan is a little bit worried about that. You can see he's going to just wait at his turret and kind of wait for those minions to come back and try to farm under his turret, because he certainly is fairly low. We'll be able to regen up a little bit, and you know, as he gets some more gold, you can continually kind of build more items as the Ornn and have a better chance of staying in that lane. But there is always the potential of Impact diving him at 6, so he's gonna have to be pretty careful about that.
Definitely agree. So watch the health bar as about the 6th minute ticks around. Well, he has a flash, Darshan, and as we'll see how it goes when that comes through, though. As Impact's still again running and looking for that flame, can't quite get that, but that could have been several hundred damage yet again if he'd managed to land that. Either way, clears the wave, and a little bit low on mana, but probably okay to stay in for now. Xmithie, nice grab, gets the scuttle, actually a level up as well. Even the Drake is helping. Everything on the map helping to kill off. ReignOver gets a black shield and has to jump the wall, but so injured. Sejuani losing a lot of the map now.
Yeah, really starting to get pressured out. I mean, that time spent on the top side, the fact that he lost his blue, gets pushed back to base, now getting chunked out again, is really kind of giving the tempo advantage to Xmithie in the jungle. And Xmithie now using this time to get up top. We can see Darshan put this ward earlier. We'll see if he's going to be able to actually get out of there. Yeah, his flash was blown, though. So that is worth noting that that was actually a flash blown in the 1v1. That was off screen. So Impact able to force that 1v1 flash, as he may have hit 6 earlier. We didn't see exactly what happened there, but we'll be more vulnerable as a result.
Yeah, definitely something to watch for. You saw that gank hit almost come through, but of course he did get away from it in time. A good, sort of reasonably deeply placed ward. Nice redemption picked up. That's a great early item get for Huhi. Might be give some health over to ReignOver in his jungle. He's having a few struggles over there.
You can see the wards that TL has actually put down here on the bottom side around this Infernal. I'm sure they would love to really kind of utilize their pressure that they have built up now and try to get that early Infernal. You know, as of now, Xmithie is definitely ahead. You can see that Impact is kind of having the pressure advantage up there, and you know, Xmithie, as he hits 6, they may be able to kind of look around that dragon for an early Infernal.
We'll see, as you mentioned, those control wards down there. We saw the Spectres point over it a little while ago as well. DoubleLift this time teleportless, and even despite the fact he's got fleet footwork, now so low on health, he's actually getting pushed out of this lane. You mentioned it before, this is a very strong duo, this Varus Morgana poke duo, and with an Infernal Drake up, this might be a very good time to start playing for that Drake on CLG's side, despite those liquid wards. Instead, it looks like a recall out for Biofrost, and they're just going to sort of be satisfied with the fact that they've denied 1 wave away from DoubleLift.
Yeah, and as of now, it's kind of just a bit of a stalemate because CLG has the bottom lane advantage, because TL is stronger with their jungler and top laner right now, it is seeming. So we'll kind of see how these two teams want to play it out. And TPs are going to be up fairly soon for the top laners. So Ornn does have strong, team fight at level 6. ReignOver is now level 6. So there's a ton of AoE CC that's going to be coming out as Stixxay hits 6, Biofrost hits 6. You have like 4 AoE crowd control ultimates coming out from CLG, and maybe that's what they want to wait for and then try to fight around that. Even if you're weaker in the 1v1s, it's not necessarily going to matter if you are kind of matching up around that Infernal.
Yeah, I agree with you. CLG definitely looking like they've indexed toward team fighting power, and it is something that's pretty good to play around. Is, hey, make sure you play to your win conditions, play towards your champion's strengths, and Biofrost not too far from 6, a wave or 2, but the rest of them have it. Might be a place to go for as the scuttle's picked up, and right now, still to look at that Drake. They will kill another ward. Oh, He stole 10 gold from Huhi, but that's all right. We'll forgive him. He killed a ward.
Yeah, clearing out a lot of that vision, so a lot of the kind of advantage that Teal had around that dragon is now gone. It's Scuttle control to CLG's side, and at the very least, that is going to help them to deny away.
Nice bit of play there, and even with, yeah, nice juke gets away from the Battlestar as well. Now Darshan taking some health damage on the top side as Xmithie's around, wants to go for the repeat on this blue buff. ReignOver's nearby. Smites are actually plus level 2 ReignOver 7 now on the Sejuani.
Smite as well, though, from Sophie.
Good luck winning this battle then, as Impact is here to play. And in this 3v2, it's going to be Team Liquid disengaging. But with that ward in there, always a chance for a steal.
Pobelter is pushing in, though, and this is going to actually force Huhi to go back to mid to clear that out. So TL may have the numbers advantage around here for a short time. Huhi, though, clearing out the wave, will come back, and this could be potentially a 3v3, but it looks like CLG is saying, nope, we've given up the positioning, and that's another blue buff going TL's way.
Well, that is nice. Xmithie gets the smite right there, and the gold still only within 400 despite that first blood from before. DoubleLift resetting the bottom lane, only down 9 himself, probably going to stay alive for a little while. We look now, some pillars are there. ReignOver waiting in the brush. No dive going to come through. Didn't want to pull the trigger on that. Sejuani was ready. Ultimate Prime. Instead, they go for the other side blue, maybe towards that bottom lane. But flashes and ult still available for Team Liquid, going to make that hard to fight for.
And now potentially trying to go for a 4-man dive. They're going to TP in 5-man bot.
All right, they've got the root onto one. The sun's going to come land as well, but he's got a stopwatch, buy some time. Here comes the Ornn. Looking for the knock and looking for something to do, but there's not going to be any kills picked up. The goop slows him down. Now in towards the Singe. He's right in the front, but he's going to be able to lock away easily. And Pobelter cleans up Biofrost. Counter Legend Gaming routed, forced to run away, but will they find more? No other kills. CLG's dive does not work out.
Yeah, 10 men bottom, but the only one they're able to really get onto is the Tahm Kench, who had a stopwatch available. He's able to buy so much time there, and the CLG dive really amounts to nothing. TP coming in earlier here from Darshan. Biofrost flashing forward, but DoubleLift able to break the tether, and then your only real target is actually over onto Olleh, it looks like. Olleh flashes out of the Ornn stun. CLG gets completely split. All of TL is collapsing, and they're going to go positive on the play, picking up 1 kill.
And we did see like the Ornn Sejuani duo try to 2-man DoubleLift. He ulted to get over Sedge, then flashed the Ornn Call of the Forge God. So well played overall. Everyone on Liquid did a really good job on that one. That duo lane showing up nicely, and with the collapse, that's a good kill. Equalized that score, and Team Liquid now up 2 to 300 gold. As Biofrost knocks down that ward himself, Huhi gets a bit of wave control, and wait for one maybe more reset for CLG. Waiting to see what happens to that Drake sometime soon. Now Xmithie, he's coming up towards this one actually. Now a 2v1, and this could be bad for Darshan. Does have flash. Of course, the rest of CLG coming by as well, so Fling is in, but it's still a fairly healthy Ornn. He's gonna walk away. His charge already on cooldown. ReignOver gets the scuttle, and out they go, no kills.
Feel able to clear out Pink, though, will kind of back off for now. Maybe able to clear out a little bit more vision around this area. They really are trying to very heavily pressure this top side of the map. Knowing that Impact is going to have the pressure, he's going to have the advantage on this Singe compared to the Ornn. We'll be pushing him in most of the time, and a lot of nice damage there, though, out from Darshan. And I'm going to be interested to see what Impact goes for as far as his first item. Is it actually going to be something like the Leandries or just even Rylai's into pure tank? Both can be pretty strong options. You know, if you do want to kind of go more for the team fight, it's generally just straight Rylai's in things like Righteous Glory or Irelia's, and then tanky from there in competitive play.
Now, I gotta call something out, because this audience here ostensibly are League of Legends players. If you guys are so excited about wards, why don't you ever buy them in solo queue? I look at my mini-map, I see you guys. That thing's dark all the time. Yeah. Shout out support players.
There's a lot more of them than there are of you, Phreak.
Yeah, but I got the high ground. We've all seen the prequels.
I believe they're all great warders. They're the exception.
They're the exception to the rule. That's why they cheer. They know.
We have a crowd full of challenger players.
Or they hate wards. That's why they like seeing them die. Okay. That's why they never buy them. That's what it is.
It's one of the great mysteries of the world. We may never know. But back to the game.
No, you're
Some
right.
League of Legends happening here. Rage Blade's being bought up on both sides here for the AD carries, and we won't find out for Stixxay really until his second item if he is going to go AP or go for kind of more of the old school builds. And I do really feel like it's going to be problematic for them if he goes full onto AP. It's going to be too easy perhaps for Xmithie and Impact to really itemize towards dealing with that. And You can see Olleh just using the ultimate to try to get DoubleLift back to lane here as fast as possible. They're trying to keep this turret alive, but CLG is pressing.
First turret based on how much time they have, but you're right, with Xmithie coming around, ReignOver is there to help play defense. The pillar comes up, this might just slow him down. And Pobelter had first roam, but he's not going to collapse for that anymore. Now instead they're going to aggro for this Infernal Drake, and they have that temporary 4v3 plus Singed walking down the map, and Darshan has no TP, so Liquid for sure own the numbers advantage. It would only be a smite steal for ReignOver. He's looking around on the sides, but he's not going to be in range or spot it. Nice pickup. Inferno goes over pretty cleanly to Team Liquid. Still, the chance to play for that bottom turret could be there. But now, again, Impact is around. The squad is nearby, except for Double, who's a bit far. Looking for Xmithie. They're going to find only a slow. A lot of damage on him, though. Here comes the Ornn call, and he's going to pop the stopwatch, stay alive. So will they be the re-engage? They found a lot of damage. They've got that kill picked up. 1 for 0. Stixxay gets that. And now Impact might just be rooted up, might be chased down as his health bar runs low. They find a bit more, but not going to get the kill. DoubleLift snipes back a kill and takes down his old teammate.
Nicely done, making that a 1-for-1. It looked heavily in the favor of CLG, and now Huhi can get chased down.
He's stunned. They've got an ignite, but there's a little bit too much defense on him. He should survive this one.
And he picked up a Zhonya's active there, so they wouldn't be able to actually dive onto him. Otherwise, that likely would have been a sure kill. Does have the stopwatch available as well, so perhaps respecting both. Either way, TL able to get a lot more than you would expect from that situation. They have a very low turret bot. It looks like a CLG would be able to take that down. They instead are able to defend it, get the Infernal. Then CLG has a 5v3 mid, essentially. TL's able to trade a kill, keep their turret alive, get the Infernal Dragon, and definitely coming out on top in that exchange.
Stixxay's Spidey senses that he might have been getting hit down in the bottom lane, but no dive just yet. So the Krugs go down over to ReignOver.
And they're going for Rift top. Like, this is really nice macro play here from TL. They know they will likely eventually lose this turret on the bottom side, but they're trying to delay. They're trying to get more objectives off of this, and that's going to be so frustrating. Just barely out of range there was Xmithie from ReignOver, and Xmithie buying a lot of time here, allows them to kind of get some damage back, and now the fight over Rift Herald.
Herald picked up already by Team Liquid, but now the Drowsy in the backline. Look for the re-engage. They got to force to run away. A nice pillar by some time, and this might be Darshan. Isolated, separated, and going down. He's building what he can, but not going to get that one. And now in goes DoubleLift. He wants the backline. Look at a kill off Zoe. Can't quite get that one as Huhi runs away, but Liquid picking up another objective off the map, and an early smite as this resets.
But again, nice rotations there, utilizing the Tahm Kench ultimate, forces a flash out of Huhi. They do eventually lose that first turret as expected, but they get the Rift Herald, they get a kill, they take away the blue buff for the 3rd straight time. They can clear even away this Gromp, trade a turret top. So this is just really smart play from TL, knowing that they're at a disadvantage in the 2v2 bot, moving around the map, delaying enough time that they are now going to be able to go positive in a lot of these trades.
Absolutely here, 1,200 gold lead for Team Liquid as this top turret falls, and Liquid, if there's not going to be enough defense, can get another charge down at the tier 2. Looks like they're going to leave Herald alone, and Biofrost will get some damage, but will still get the charge. This will be a 50% health turret as a result. As damage comes through that wave, not much of a problem, though.
Here's the fight one more time, trying to get in there, but the Rift Herald is already gone, and this is a flashless Darshan. This TL 3-man squad very, very strong in the fight, and with the rotation coming up here from DoubleLift and Olleh, the Abyssal Voyage delivers in DoubleLift, getting a flash there out of Huhi, pushing them out of their jungle again, and ceding the blue buff for the 3rd straight time.
It's true, they've gotten every single one so far, so Team Liquid looking pretty good on that side of the map. Now we'll see what kind of Logic Gaming can do to kind of come back, because 1,300 gold down, TL have reset, they've got items in inventory. It looks like Stixxay building towards a Stinger means will be that AP Varus, and again, as you mentioned in the very beginning.
Or something.
Yeah,
or a Blade of the Rune King, but it is likely going to be a Stinger.
Well, you're right. There's a lot of things that the double decker could be, so we'll, I guess, wait to see what that is. But Magic's is starting to stack up. Merc treads on a couple of players for TL already, and as you mentioned, Champ Select now on 4 of them, or 3, I should say. Sorry. This endgame could be scary. Stixxay wants in, finds the root, quick cleanse out for Pobelter, slowed, but walks away from the Dark Binding, and that's not too expensive of a summoner spell.
Yeah, I mean, 3 Merc treads, as you said. QSS already done on Tahm Kench. There's a cleanse on Pobelter. They're going to be stacking MR, and this is going to get worse and worse and worse for CLG the longer the game goes on, unless they can find really an incredible kind of AoE team fight where they're catching multiple members, you know, with the Varus ultimate and the Ornn ultimate, and kind of just snowballing that to a team fight victory. You know, the efficiency is just so much higher for this TL side as far as itemization is going to go, if it is Stixxay going for the AP build, because even with DoubleLift going AP, you still have Xmithie dealing some physical damage. You have a big physical damage threat from this Irelia. And there's kind of a lot better mixed damage there.
Well, maybe you're right about this one, Azael. It's going to be a Zeal coming through for Stixxay. That could be Hurricane Shade, Rapid Fire, any one of those items. Now looking for the dive on mid lane. Nice quick stopwatch used by Huhi. Will he be re-engaged upon? Slowed down. Tagged by this one as well with the turret gone. So will not go for the dive as now Stixxay is here to defend. And they're going to stay alive on this one. TL, though, still get another advantage. Their gold lead now pushing to 2,500. Taking more of the map.
Yeah, I really like this from Stixxay. I think it is very intelligent as far as the itemization goes. MR still may be the right choice overall because Varus always going to do some magic damage, and there's all magic damage coming out elsewhere. But at least is going to make it kind of more of a risk now for the frontliners as he does go into Hurricane or Rapid Fire or whatever, into IE and these sorts of things. Will be able to be much more of a threat, especially with that lethal tempo. If they can keep him safe with the Black Shield and with these big frontliners, he's definitely going to be able to put out a lot of damage in the team fights.
And Stixxay has been one of those star performers for Counter Logic Gaming. I think he kind of bounced up and down. He's had a pretty high variance performance in the NALCS, but I think of late, especially looking at Spring Split, he's been really, really good. And I think this is a player that CLG can put their effort into, and I think he'll reward them for their efforts. But now a pillar towards Huhi, but just think they're not going to find much. Olleh going to be bound up, but again, has that way to get out. Early QSS for him. And nothing to be grabbed, but this Cloud Drake up in 5 seconds, and a couple of summoners now missing for TL. Could make this a bit easier for CLG. But for the bubble, not going to find that just yet. Xmithie dances back and forth and waits for something to see.
But Impact is pushing on the top side. Someone's eventually going to have to answer that, or they need to force a play elsewhere. And it's kind of funny looking at the garage sale that Darshan has accumulated. He really is focusing on CDR, you can tell. He wants an Abyssal, but he grabbed the Sheen, he grabbed the Kindle Gem, saying that, hey, it's all about the CDR, which I think is pretty intelligent on the Ornn, because really you are your ultimate. As far as team fights, that is what you are. And having that ultimate up every single time you want to go for a pick is very, very important. So he will kind of delay some of the item efficiencies with the completions, but he's going to have a ton of early CDR.
And even though he is about his ultimate, not simply about team fighting power, Team Liquid not letting CLG play that kind of style. The last big fight we saw out of CLG, the last two actually, Liquid went with a kill and nothing lost for it here. The split push on the bottom lane for Pobelter got a solo turret down there. We saw on top lane, the wave was all the way down to tier 2. CLG have really not been able to find their way into the games. They're being bled out so far.
I mean, it's tough to see who's going to really be able to answer effectively in the side lanes. You know, who is supposed to be answering a 1-3-1 that could potentially be coming out from TL, right? You put Irelia in a side lane, you put Singed in a side lane, and then you have quite a safe 3-man squad with Tahm, Kench as a QSS, the Kai'Sa, and this Trundle, and then you're kind of trying to pull CLG apart. CLG wants to find picks, wants to find engages, and even if you group 5 and try to hard engage on that 3-man squad, well, Tahm Kench can keep you safe probably through a lot of that.
Good luck then, CLG finding their target. As the wave again gets pushed in, Stixxay being donated a lot of the farm. He has the most on his team. That I think makes a lot of sense as a very hard scaling crit champion. He will need to move on well. Natural Truth though done for DoubleLift means he's on a power spike, and they could look for ReignOver. That was going to be a stun, but of course you've got Olleh nearby. They're going to find the root onto him now, and he's just being thrown abilities into, but so tanky, and the Tahm Kench able to walk away. And now a team playing. They're coming for this big fight right now. CLG have nowhere to go. Here comes the Ornn Horde. Can this be the fight they need? Darshan kites back, finds a Naga, but already Stixxay is dead, and they get a second as Zoe falls as well. Looking for a third. ReignOver running out of health. A quick stopwatch. Use a double kill now for DoubleLift, and they look to chop down absolutely everyone. It's only Darshan left alive, and he's running for his life. The bodyguards are dead, Mr. President. You are going down 5-0. Team Liquid grabbed the clean ace.
Team Liquid pulling them apart, getting the item advantages. They can now head to the Baron. They're going to leave Impact to try to continue to pressure this mid lane. They will go to the Baron. This will be an enormous lead for TL.
Absolutely a beautiful fight out of them. Baron Nash looking to shoutcast this fight. They're going to win it without a single casualty. A quick recall out of the Singe. Nothing CLG can do to stop them here. Liquid have just completely smashed open the mid game.
Yeah, Liquid looking back in full control. DoubleLift back on a marksman, and TL looking very, very good here. CLG want to go for the pick, but Sejuani ultimate onto a tank with the Tahm Kench behind him means you're going to get very low value there. And then the TP from Singed is just masterful here from Impact, running through, creating so much chaos. Pobelter flying in from the side. Singed able to buy a lot of time and survive, and that just means that Xmithie and Olleh are very easily able to protect DoubleLift, who can start to fly through the fight. Great use of the stopwatch there from Pobelter, resetting the turret aggro, and able to pull off a 5-for-0 ace at 20 minutes into a Baron is essentially a death sentence for CLG, barring some insane amounts of throw from TL.
Absolutely agree. This is a super, super massive advantage now. So what will Liquid pick up? They're waiting with all 3 outer turrets gone and the tier 2s all available to them with 2.5 minutes still to play with on this Baron buff. No Banner of Command makes the sieging not quite as easy, but doesn't even matter as much. Pops the ult, flashes away. Xmithie stays alive, but does lose a couple of important cooldowns. Mid lane under fire, that cannon minion shot almost knocks it down, and it will fall. One turret down.
And the thing is, it's like, great, they got a flash mid lane, but they still lost a turret, and that's a 5v3 mid. They're getting 1-3-1, which is kind of what you expect from this TL comp. CLG doesn't even try to answer in the side lanes because they know there's no real chance of being able to 1v1 on either side. So all TL needs to do is wait until people answer one side, then you push on the other, and you just kind of continue this push and pull process. Impact will have that bottom lane wave to the turret at the inhibitor pretty soon. He's already knocked down the last tier 2, and the push will continue. And one wrong step from CLG means they lose the base.
In about 30 seconds of trying, Team Liquid have knocked down all 3 tier 2 turrets now towards the inhibitors. Now, Pobelter must be a little bit careful about this. Does have cleanse, does have flash. He can get away from most of the attacks out of CLG.
Yeah, CLG basically their only way to do this is you wave clear Xmithie on one lane, then you go to the other lane, you hard engage, you get an immediate kill, and then you get back in your base and you defend those turrets. And that's what they need to look for. So it has to be a pinpoint engage with the Varus ultimate or a binding or that Ornn engage. You immediately kill, then you get back to defense. Anything else means they're going to lose inhibitors.
Looking for the bind, not quite going to get that. Xmithie was a little bit alone, but not hit by any of that hard crowd control. Able to walk away cleanly. The wave cleared once again, dealing a little bit of damage on the bottom side. Darshan chose to defend, but he's in a 1v3. An easy pickup down there. 5v4 with Baron buff on. Inhibitor turret's already gone.
Yeah, really nice Abyssal Voyage. Olleh just uses the Kench ultimate, brings in DoubleLift right on top of Darshan, who thought he was in a 1v1 against Impact, and that is an easy kill. The base is cracked, and they're straight onto the Nexus turrets here, looking for an end.
Zarla squished here. It's the 2 packs to go, but right now, gonna stay alive as they try to clear these minions out. But look at that, they defend bot lane, but top's already being pushed. But Pobelter finds another open inhibitor. He's still wailing away on that one, and Biofrost, not one who can stop him from doing this. The rest of the team will, though, force him to walk away.
I mean, Xmithie is bringing in the mid lane wave, though. They're not planning on stopping anytime soon here. It's gonna have to be an engage from CLG, or they will be watching the rest of their base just slowly going down.
The last wave of Baron, 20 seconds left on the buff. Inhibitor in the mid lane now open as well. Huhi finds something. Here comes Zio. They're looking for this one final fight. The knockups are there. They're going to find a stun, but no one's taking meaningful damage. Liquid, weather all the ultimates and just kill 2 more inhibitors. It's an open base at this point. Nexus turret's the only thing standing from them and defeat as CLG wait for their opportunity, but just have not found anything.
And for TL, I think at this point you just reset. Baron buff expired. They're going to have a tremendous amount of gold in their pockets. I mean, 3K gold here on Pobelter, 2,800 on DoubleLift, 2,600 on Impact, and another 4K are essentially combined between Xmithie and Olleh. They can spend up an enormous amount of gold. That's like 14,000 gold in their pockets.
Yeah, what's crazy about that is this gold lead here, this like 38 to 53. In inventory, it's like 38 to 43.
Yeah.
Right? 38 to 40, something like that. And they were already smashing the base. So now reset. Now it is really 39 to 53. And Liquid are, as you mentioned, with so much gold ready to spend. Upgrade 1.5 million items. Guardian Angel now done for Pobelter. No more deaths for him in this game except for a fountain dive. And this is all over but the crying.
Yeah, there's just, CLG didn't really find their opportunity. TL just pulled them apart so well with the advantages with this split push comp. If you fall behind as a 5v5 team fighting comp against split push, this is how the game will look if it is executed correctly. And TL has been looking so clean. It's just interesting to see this game and their first game. If you had only watched those and not watched their Golden Guardians game, you'd be like, damn, TL is looking amazing. But that one Golden Guardians game, they got pulled completely apart, and that is kind of the blemish on their record right now.
Now we'll see what happens. The stun's going to come through and not actually find a single soul. Now in the front line is Pobelter. He's going to lose the Guardian Angel, but Biofrost at 5 HP has to run away. Impact on the chase, going to look for someone, flashes in, finds his Stixxay's gone as well. 5 HP to close one out as Huhi's running away with Ignite on him, trying to stay alive. He might just do so, but it does not matter if he is, because this is going to be the base falling down, the Nexus turrets to fall. Huhi's still on the run, doesn't want to die, and he might not, but his base certainly will. A 28-minute win for Team Liquid.
An absolute slaughter. Team Liquid coming out today, firing on all cylinders, looking so good. Really playing this draft well. The first blood went to CLG, but that was really about all that went their way.
Yeah.
Not really able to get anything going. They had the 2v2 pressure on bot side, but TL able to delay the turret going down, get the Infernal, take down the Rift Herald, rotate top, knock down turrets, and really just played this kind of split push, spread pressure style game so incredibly well. So CLG never got the 5v5 they drafted for.
Yeah, they really never did. And the battles they did fine, they got flanked in and surrounded, and it was just very brutal for them. So well played to Team Liquid. Your reigning NALCS champions, sitting now 2-1. Very near to first place right here. Chronologic Gaming, of course, had their worst split ever in spring, a 7th place finish, missing playoffs, and sadly for them, it's a 1-2 start, so still work to be had. We'll see what they can do tomorrow against Clutch Gaming. The Liquid's matchup is going to be a fun one against Destiny, against TSM, one of the only undefeated teams in the LCS. That one's going to be exciting tomorrow. Yeah. Wait for that. But that's I think, to me, the proof then, okay, Golden Guardian's blunder happened. Sure, that was, DoubleLift having a very bad game on Vladimir and other things going on. But, okay, 2-1 is a very good start. You've already knocked down 100 Thieves, who are the finalists. You get to go against TSM, who are undefeated and just one of the NALCS standouts. That, to me, is when you could say, yep, TL are definitely back. Yeah, I mean, if they take down TSM tomorrow, it's an incredibly strong start. But still, a lot of work to be done before they could do that. Lots of work to be done, but we'll now hear more about that Game 1 victory and send it over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Phreak. In just a few moments, we're going to hear from Olleh, who will be interviewing with Avli. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about the victory here put together by Team Liquid. Jat, we laid out some win conditions at the top of the day for both of these teams, as your team was ultimately victorious. I want to take a look at how well they aligned with what you had thrown out there as their win conditions.
I think they did it. I said they should counterpick mid lane, which was easy when they're going to first pick the Zoe. Irelia was a serviceable counterpick. And then I said get rid of Braum Ezreal bottom lane. First phase ban was Braum, second phase ban was Ezreal. And then from there, it was just about execution.
Yep, and CLG did not do what I said. This was a really good play by TL's bot lane. They split up, which forced Biofrost to try and pick between the two. He doesn't choose either, and the tether breaks on both. Really nice timing on the stopwatch to dodge out on a bunch of CC, plus the flash away. On the top side of the fight, DoubleLift was also kiting out very well, using his ultimate and flash to get out of that situation. That left CLG stuck behind the turret, and they pick up that one kill.
Yeah, and this is another situation here where this is actually a good play by CLG, and TL is just out executing in the moment. Look at how close it is to having both people near the turret die. Impact almost dies. You can see Pobelter almost goes down. A snipe randomly looks like it comes through to turn it into a 1-to-1. And eventually the scaling hits for Team Liquid, where they kind of really just break the game open with this fight.
Right, caught in a bad position. CLG is here. The ace ultimately going to come through for Team Liquid. From there, the advantage too great for CLG to come back from, especially with the scaling advantage that Team Liquid has.
Yeah, both teams take very standard comps. This is stuff you easily would have seen in previous metas, and then I think it really came down to CLG just kind of getting out-executed. That dive, very easily, if Biofrost just cut back and focused Olleh to get his tether off on him, they get the stun, they get the chain CC, they kill him. They do neither. Team Liquid plays it very well, and that happened a couple times over the course of the game that they finally get that one back-breaking fight.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have a decent number of games like this early on in the season, where when you see this scoreboard, you see 28-minute victory, 11-2. Man, TL blasted them. But actually, the game was pretty close.
Right.
Those two plays that we saw in the mid-game were incredibly close and could have given CLG something. So I think this was a close, well-fought game. Well-earned victory by Team Liquid, but I do not think it was a stomp.
Right, 20 minutes of near neck and neck. The last 8 minutes is really where that swing came in for Team Liquid and ultimately the victory. Other things of note here is, of course, the Sejuani making her appearance back in the North American LCS. I know it's been picked up by a few other regions as well, so continued diversity in the meta.
It just has a lot of synergies with meta champions. If you see Irelia in the mid lane, you see Yasuo in the mid lane, pick a Sejuani, free stun setups with her passive applying on melee champions, and she just combos together very well with a number of champions.
I will say this game was MSI meta. This was 8-9. We saw Singe ban against Impact at MSI. We saw Kai'Sa was a priority pick. We saw Irelia come in towards the end. All these picks would have been fit right in with MSI.
At the end of the day, though, this game won.
I don't know.
Just like, you want to dive back in there? Who knows? We got some solid AD carries in this league. Maybe they'll pull the Uzi method of or strategy to winning